Welcome to BOJTV Trending News for top stories in local, regional and international news, along with sports and local weather forecast. I'm Carla. Coming up in our local trending news, Prime Minister off to attend a Caricom Heads of Government meeting. National Works Agency warns motorists against falling rocks in Charlestown, Portland. Linstead woman who fell from moving motor vehicle dies at hospital. Opposition says government failing to meet commitments given for extensions of SOE. Now the details. Prime Minister Andrew Holness left the island on Tuesday, July 2, to attend the 40th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community Caricom in St. Lucia. The meeting will take place between July 3 and 5. The opening ceremony will be addressed by Antonio Gutierrez, Secretary General of the United Nations. A statement from the Office of the Prime Minister said, additionally, the Prime Minister of Norway, Erna Solberg, will also have special meetings with the heads of government of Caricom. During the session, Jamaica is expected to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with Caricom related to providing support towards operationalizing and institutionalizing the Caricom Results-Based Management System Phase 2. Caricom heads are expected to discuss several issues, including regional security, Venezuela, blacklisting, Small Island Development States Resilient Foundation, and other matters. Prime Minister Holness is supported by Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Camina Johnson-Smith, representatives from her ministry, and OPM Press Secretary Naomi Francis. During Prime Minister Holness's absence, Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang will be in charge of the government. A St. Catherine woman who fell from a moving vehicle on the weekend and sustained multiple head injuries have now succumbed to her injuries at hospital. She has been identified as a 30-year-old Tamaria Walker, a sales representative who resides at Grove Road in Linstead, St. Catherine. Reports are that on the weekend, Walker was among other passengers travelling in a motor vehicle along the Cotton Piece Main Road in Ewerton when the door of the vehicle flew open and she fell out onto the roadway. Walker was rushed to hospital, where she was treated and admitted in serious condition. The female who sustained head and body injuries later succumbed to her injuries. The National Works Agency is warning motorists using the roadway from Buff Bay to Balkyers in Portland to exercise extreme caution at Charlestown, as there has been reports of falling rocks. NWA Communication and Customer Service Manager Stephen Shaw say that a bushfire is reported to have disturbed rocks along the hillside, which now perils a section of Charlestown Main Road. Shaw stated that a recent concluded rock fall protection project at the location assisted in containing some of the materials and mitigate even greater importance on the roadway. Mr. Shaw says he is, however, encouraging motorists to remain alert when traversing the affected section of the roadway, which is outfitted with the necessary warning signs. The parliamentary opposition says the government has failed to adhere to conditions under which it supported the extensions of the state of emergency in Westmoreland, Hanover and St. James. Opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson is charging that the government has relied mainly on the state of emergency to tackle crime and has not presented a crime plan. He was speaking against the background of statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force showing a marginal increase in serious and violent crimes, including murders. Regarding the support given for 90-day extension of the state of emergencies in the western parishes of Westmoreland, Hanover and St. James, Mr. Jackson highlighted several conditions that were set for that support to continue: the development of a crime plan for the government to indicate what steps are being taken to apprehend the gang leaders, and for stakeholders meeting to be held to come up with a common approach. The government has not delivered on that so far, he stated. Police data shows a reduction in murders in 2 of the 3 western parishes, which have been on a state of emergency since April. Westmoreland and Hanover recorded declines of 29% and 40% during the January 1 to June 29 period. On the other hand, murders continued to rise in St. James, with 68 cases of homicide during the January to June period under review, up from 51 during the corresponding period in 2018. Opposition spokesman on tourism Dr. Wickham McNeill is urging the government to quickly formulate a policy framework to define its position on cannabis. Dr. McNeill says cannabis could provide a number of opportunities, including a new retail market for marijuana, with appropriate properties operating at dispensaries for the legal sale of the product. This further gives us the opportunity for branding products such as Orange Hill Ganja, as well as a dedicated source of income straight from the retail market to these approved growers, he said. The opposition spokesman said there could also be guided tours of approved farms, which would add another dimension of Jamaica's attractions market. The health and wellness market and all the spa and medicinal offshoots of this are another unexplored frontier in the industry, he added. According to Dr. McNeill, farmers were still trying to acquire land in Orange Hill, Westmoreland and Accompong, St. Elizabeth, areas which the government had given a special zone license for cannabis production under a pilot program. Under the program, which aims to eliminate illegal cultivation of cannabis, farmers are to grow ganja in those areas to provide raw material for processors. Those were the top stories making local trending news. Now join us for news from across the region, as well as our international story, sports and local weather forecasts. From across the region, authorities in Barbados have called off a week-long search for a New Jersey couple who vanished while jet skiing. Prime Minister Mia Mottley met with 7 family members on Monday, and her press secretary Roy Morris says she expressed condolences. 32 years old Oscar Suarez and 25 years old Magdalena DeVille arrived in Barbados on June 22 for a one-week vacation in Old Town on the island's west coast. 2 days later, they rented jet skis, donned life jackets and set off Caribbean waters. They never returned. Morris says the search ended on Sunday at sunset, a day after a U.S. military aircraft ended its search for the American couple. The search covered more than 600 nautical miles and included police, the local Coast Guard, regional security forces, and the U.S. Air Force. In international news, a House committee sued the Trump administration in federal court Tuesday for access to President Donald Trump's tax returns, setting up a legal showdown over the records. The House Ways and Means Committee said it needs the documents for an investigation into tax law compliance by the president, among other things. It asked the court to order the administration to turn over the documents. The lawsuit is the culmination of a long-running fight between Democrats and Trump over the returns dating back to 2016 campaign, when Trump claimed that he could not release them due to an IRS audit. The records hold the promise of information that Trump has carefully guarded from public view, including about his business entanglements, relationships with foreign creditors and governments, and the value of his assets. Over in our sporting report, the England Lionhearts, a powerful representative team from the amateur leagues in England, landed in Jamaica on Monday, July 1 for a 14-day tour of Jamaica. They will play 3 test matches against local representative teams and participate in a 9-a-side tournament. The party contains 22 players and 10 staff, including a referee. Jamaica is using the tour as part of its preparation pathway for the Rugby League World Cup in 2021. Fresh off the national team's historic win against the USA on June 22, the local rugby league fraternity now turns its attention to facing the might of England's best amateur players. Rugby league director and head coach Romeo Monteith believes the visit will help boost the playing ability of local players. Meanwhile, Stuart Pryor, manager of the Lionhearts, said he plans to use the tour to get a look at Jamaica's best players. On your local weather forecast for this morning, insignificant feature, a trough across Jamaica. The trough is expected to remain across the island through to tomorrow. On Friday, the high-pressure ridge is expected to rebuild across Jamaica. Hazy conditions persists across the island for the next week. The forecast for this morning will see mainly sunny skies and hazy conditions. During this afternoon, possible isolated showers and thunderstorms across sections of south, central and western parishes, otherwise sunny and hazy. Tonight, mainly fair. Maximum temperature expected for Kingston as well as Montego Bay today is 35 degrees Celsius. That was BOJTV's Trending News, your top local, regional and international stories, as well as a sport report and weather forecast. Until next time, I'm Carla. Thanks for watching.